So here's Team Navi versus Team Dignitas, and we had the first pick and first ban by Team Dignitas. So they started by removing Falstad. Hasn't been picked by any team yet during this entire tournament. Why ban him? Well, that's a specially adjusted ban to remove it from Navi because they have special strats with it.
Absolutely. Back in the Europe regionals, they use Falstad in a great way with the Butcher, with Mighty Gus coming to play with Land to the Slaughter. A combo which I think it was the only time it came out and did really good.
Yes.
And we also theorized, like, what can you do against it? And not much, unless the goofy suggestion that you made with the force roll, Grubby. Like, it's funny how on paper it sounds so strong, yet only one team ever did it one time.
Yeah, like the combo. But the cool thing about that combo of Butcher Falstad is that not only do you have to just pin someone down with a lamb and blow the rest away, but there's many different ways of doing it.
Yes.
You can aim the gust a bit differently. Someone gets left behind and then you lamb him. You can do it in many different ways. We've also seen it come into play a little bit into the fight already, as the chaos is kind of consuming the battlefield, as it were, and the cool thing about it is they have lots of creative ways to use it differently.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And one thing that really stands out to me here from Team Dignitas is not only did they fear the idea of that composition coming along and hurting them, but they also respected even the individual components themselves. In Heroes of the Storm, you don't ban out those two heroes at the same time. You actually have, you ban, then there's a few picks, and then your second wave of bans come in. So even though they banned Falstad, they were still scared of the idea as Butcher as a single component, with potential other synergies, of course, but there's still so much respect coming out on the Butcher as just a second ban alone.
Who for you guys are the players that stand out the most on both teams? For me, I'd say in Navi, maybe it's ScHwimpi.
Yeah.
ScHwimpi really, like in the European regionals, it was like, this guy is just insane. Whatever hero you put him on, you always put in some serious work and play a hell of a game. And on Dignitas, I mean, obviously you have adrd, but I feel like Bakery on Karazim, he's a beast. He barely misses a pawn ever, and he's really, to me, the MVP in some of those games a lot of the time as well.
It's actually a really interesting point that you bring up about ScHwimpi there on Team Navi, because actually we saw in this draft no hint of Tyrande whatsoever, be it in the bans or in the picks.
Yes.
Usually this is a fallback for Navi to actually go to as something more of an aggressive stance. So that really kind of gives rise to how different this draft is for Navi, considering their previous kind of stance.
Yes, and what about Abathur?
Yeah, true.
Abathur is actually a really good hero on Blackheart's Bay. There's a huge distance between the middle and top lane all the way down to the bottom. There's lots of places that people are walking between, to the pirate, around the pirate, Toxic Nest, Vile Nest, with Prolific Dispersal from Abathur, and generally just the ability to take Mule or just to have the map control. Another thing is, like, the top lane, it feels so far away in the mid game on Blackheart's Bay, and it's very difficult to garner experience there without making a risk that is well, disproportionately high. And Abathur can get that experience safely through the use of his symbiote.
So in terms
We didn't see him.
No, you're right, you're right. In terms of the warrior lineup that we do have from Navi, the Johanna Leoric, actually it's something that we haven't seen as much of recently. Notice how there is actually no Muradin at all, not only in the bans, but also not in the picks either.
It's almost old meta against new meta.
Almost.
With TRL and Althas being two of the new guys that we see a lot more of in a lot of these games in terms of warrior that have done very well as well. TRL has he has an insane ratio so far in this tournament, barely lost a game.
It is very interesting. It looks like now, I'm just getting informed here as we continue on, that we will have a 5-minute delay. So it seems that the teams are almost ready here, and the production is almost ready to solve all of the issues that
you promise it'll be the last one.
Thanks.
Kalaris' word on it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. As the host, yeah, sure, I'll take the blame. That's fine. I'm okay with that. No problems at all. You can tweet me and tell me that I was the one that was in the wrong. I'm totally okay with it.
But if he's right, all credit goes to him for finally getting this show on the road.
All credit to Kalaris. Yes. Great. I'm loving that. Probably, it's got nothing to do with me, guys. So we were talking about flashy plays as well. Outside of Dignitas, we've already spoken about Bakery with his Divine Palms. Are there any particular things that stand out to you? For me, Atheroangel is something that is a particularly kind of a fantastic little pick that goes forwards.
Yeah, Atheroangel and Tyrael is I think Tyrael was known as like a pocket pick to these two teams for a while already.
Yes.
Navi followed that a little bit later. And just, well, speaking from my experiences, I never used to play with Holy Ground. This is a level 16 talent that Tyrael can take at level 16. And he can use his Eldruin's Might in a different way. Already it has 3 purposes: damaging the opponent, slowing the opponent, and teleporting to it.
Which can be used aggressively or to retreat.
Tyrael is one of the most creative warriors, and then it can also be used to provide an area that becomes impassable terrain for only enemies.
Yeah.
Having that every 6 to 10 seconds or so, depending on how much use he makes of his battle momentum, resetting his cooldowns on his basic abilities, is just insane. It offers so much control.
Yeah, it's about kind of trying to corner your opponents against already existing parts of terrain that you can then actually lock those people down, get rid of them. And actually, now that I think about it, you could have some synergy there with Holy Ground, as well as even Falstad that's come along from a ban here, if you were able to execute it with pinpoint precision, which we do normally see Athero actually being able to land that Holy Ground and pin people in and guarantee themselves kills. It's like mini Force Wall in essence, but with actually a very, very similar cooldown.
Yeah, if you play StarCraft 2, Protoss, in Heart of the Swarm or Wings of Liberty, even in Legacy of the Void, and you like using sentries and Force Walls, Tyrael is the hero for you.
Yeah.
Or Tessera.
Or Tessera.
With actual Force Wall.
She's a very skinny force field, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's a very odd shape. You're right.
One more way to counter the Mighty Gust from Falstad would be to do an entomb. Kind of like working like a vacuum cleaner. Everyone gets pulled into the small entomb, you put it behind your own team. The only problem is, and it is rather a significant problem, is that every area of effectability from your opponent would completely devastate your team.
Yeah.
But that's the only disadvantage.
Only? Yeah, not too big a deal in any way.
Depends on the draft.
Yeah.
Maybe only one guy has some proper wombo to it.
Exactly.
Are there any particular standouts on the side of Navi? I mean, we've spoken about Bakery on Team Dignitas, we've spoken about Athero on his Tyrael. Aside from those two, then when we go over to Navi, are there any standout players that play a particular hero that you're very, very interested in terms of their lineup?
Alex the Pro G is a phenomenal warrior. I think he's one of the best warriors in Europe, if not the best. He also plays very well on Tyrael and a number of other heroes as well. And I guess he's going to be manning the Johanna.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would have said that as well. He's very, very good, actually.
And this was a first pick. So they're using Alex the Pro G's talent / skill / comfortability on warriors to put him on first pick Johanna. And I was even wondering, like, is Johanna's era a little bit over? But here she is, first pick.
You know, to be honest with you, I mean, looking at Navi's lineup, they could quite easily put him on Leoric as well. I mean, we've seen Alex the Pro G actually when Navi was, when Leoric first was released, he was very, very prevalent on that hero, almost to the point where he was using that very annoying split push strategy that we did see him actually bringing out and causing a lot of teams problems in the European scene. So I won't be surprised if he ends up on Leoric as well.
Some people live for these kind of strategies where you get like Leoric and Abathur, you attack the enemy keep, even as you get felled down like a wayward tree in a lone forest by the opponent. You just come back from the dead as Leoric with your undying regeneration and go have a whack again at that keep. And those kind of backdoor strategies, we've had a number of them in Heroes of the Storm. Also, like a long time ago, Falstad, Brightwing, Abathur, Zagara, all flying into an enemy keep and taking it down. It happened.
It did happen.
Somewhere last year during the technical alpha. And then you had Azmodan getting copied by Abathur, copying his demonic invasion as well. It's like,
good times.
Yeah, and then if you died, it's okay. Resurgence of the Storm. But the game became a lot more balanced than that already.
I forgot about Resurgence of the Storm. Now only Diablo kind of has this proper effect.
It's funny, actually, when Resurgence of the Storm was like, a lot of people were suggesting it should be removed. I was one of the guys who was like, no, it's great, keep it. I love it.
You were playing a lot
I'm like, actually, it was a pretty good removal.
Yeah. You were playing a lot of warriors at the time, clearly, at that point.
Sergeant Hammer with Resurgence.
Oh, yeah. And Lily?
Yeah.
The only healer with Resurgence of the Storm.
It was an interesting time.
Do you remember, I think it was called Swiftness of the Storm.
Didn't Uther have it as well?
I'm not, yes. But usually we went for Divine Hurricane, the really big hammer party.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
But do you remember the level 20 Storm tier talent called, I think, Swiftness of the Storm, where you would have a mount that I think you had 160% movement speed, and you could not be dismounted by any enemy attacks. And you had like a Gazlo, and you're like, okay, dismount you, stop that, no! And he goes to your base.
Stop that right now.
You cut it out, young man!
All right, well, I'm just being informed once again that we are very, very close to actually having this solved here pretty soon between these two. I think, again, more so than almost everybody out there, I want to start shouting and raving about these two teams, considering I think this is the longest hype we've ever had to a match here in a broadcast. It's really been building for me, especially in my mind. I'm very excited at the moment to actually get this underway.
Yeah, these two teams, they also got like a lot of extra time definitely to think about. Maybe they want to do something different. Like, you know, we always talk about like preparation going to the match and mindset and all that. Now they've had a couple hours to meditate extra on the match that's about to take place. Actually, this is very unusual as well.
Yes, it is.
The draft already happens.
Yes.
Usually you get very short time from when the draft finishes to when the game starts, whereas now these guys have had a lot of time to think about how they're going to be playing it.
All right, well, Dignitas has just made their way onto the stage here to get ready for our semi-final as we continue this on. As you can already hear the crowd in the background going a little bit crazy here for Team Dignitas. Some of the fan favorites really in the end as well. I mean, they have made themselves a very, very strong position as our monitors raise as well slowly here for a moment. And that kind of a prelude to the beginning here of our of our match to start here in this semi-final. So very, very soon we will be getting into things. Got to ask you, Grubby, here as we're going into it. Navi versus Dignitas in this first game. Looking at the drafts, looking at the two lineups, where is your prediction? Where is it lying?
I think Navi is going to play the map. I think they're going to take Mercamps aggressively. They have a strong wave clear, so they can put a lot of pressure on Team Dignitas. And it's up to Team Dignitas to play a very defensive role, both in terms of the map, in terms of the battleground, as well as the way that fights start. I think they're first going to defend and then counterattack. Execution, teamwork are going to be crucial to determine who can come out on top here, as the draft look very balanced to me.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, of all ages, we are ready to go into Team Navi versus Team Dignitas. Get ready, America! Get ready, everybody on the international stage. As we have to the left-hand side, it is the blue team. It will be Navi with Alex, the Pro G, going to be playing on the Yorick. We have ScHwimpi on Johanna. Down to the bottom, Splendour will be on Uther. Ethernal will be playing Valor, and we have JayPL finally on the Sylvanas. Then to the right-hand side, we have Team Dignitas with Zarmony on Arthas, Bakery on Karazine, Snitch will be playing Jaina. Then to the bottom, we have Athero on Tyrael, and finally adrd will be on Zagara. Let's get this game going here as we have game number 1 of the semi-finals of the World Championship.
The laning phase is going to be very important here to start things. Whereas a trap is already being set up here at the bottom with Navi trying to get a catch here on that Zagara that they knew was going to be there. They're going to use the Sylvanas here to try and do a little bit of damage on the tower, but JayPL's going low.
Already that push forward there from Athero, looking to try and get on towards JayPL with the Elder Ruins Might. Splendor's going to take some damage. It looks like JayPL's going to get out of there. Very, very close call for JayPL.
That completely backfired here. They lost so much hit points. Now JayPL, he's going to have to use his Hearthstone, go back home to heal up. That's going to completely throw up the balance here and the rhythm of Navi already in this game.
And we will see now these two lanes very, very close to one another. So usually you see some kind of rotations coming out, not only be able to control the watchtower, but also just control these lanes themselves. You can see that big, big commitment towards the bottom lane. A little bit unusual on a map like this, but already both of them with the mind games trying to stretch. This is actually quite big.
Yeah. Bakery and Zagara here, they're going to go to try and help Snitch at the top for these coins. They've already got so many of them, 7 in total. They're going to get all the 10 coins.
Power on towards ScHwimpi as well, still looking for the kill. That is going to be fast. For Team Dignitas, they pick up the first one. A great little move to come out.
And 10 coins were collected here. This could be a turn-in. This could be the momentum that Dignitas needs here in order to do well against Navi. But at the bottom lanes, there's some strong pushing going on. They need to be defending there.
Yeah, you can see Dignitas there trying to hold off against that. Zagara hasn't had much room at all to be able to deal with that. But at the same time, Dignitas gets themselves the first turn-in here without any effort whatsoever. And that will be Blackheart bombarding that middle lane here to start things off.
He's been waiting for a long time for these coins. We talk about it.
Yes,
and in that game, he didn't have to wait for very long. This is very unusual, you know, for a team to be able to collect all 10 of these coins and get a turn in immediately. This is going to be great here. They're going to do quite a bit of damage here, Dignitas, and start pulling in ahead in experience.
Exactly, giving themselves a little bit of a lead here at the start of this game. Absolutely brilliant for Team Dignitas to try and kind of push against a team that was so dominant against them in the European Championships. As we have the talents coming in here, it's going to be Protective Shield for Karazim Amplified, healing going down for the Tyrael. We have Arcane Intellect coming in from Jaina as well. And over on the other side, of course, here, we have a very, very standard build coming out from Uther, going for Conjurer's Pursuit, Protective Shield as well. Even Laws of Hope coming out for Johanna, so looking for a lot of stability here in their composition.
Some extra tankiness here to try and survive longer in some of these fights, while ideally Sylvanas and Vala will be doing the job in terms of damage.
Going to back off for now with this easy camp pushing. They're escorting it a little bit there, Navi, trying to get the most out of it, despite knowing that that bottom lane is very, very heavily contested here. So trying to escort and keep it alive for as long as possible is important. Athero's looking to move on, though. Splendour is quite low. Protective Shield's already been used by him, and he will be able to get out of there with that 3-man push.
Took a lot of damage here, though. Dignitas really not holding back at all here in the start of this game, going all out, taking every single fight that they can get. And Navi, so far, not quite able to really have anything favorable happen for themselves.
Yeah, just trying to slow things down in the bottom lane. They know that that is where a Sylvanas against a Zagara, that is where potential big experience chunks can come from outside of Blackheart, using his bombard ability to actually help out in the middle lane as well then to the top lane, and then finally going down towards the bottom lane if required structural damage-wise.
Yeah, I really like that. Actually, Zagara is the first one here to, again, go for one of the siege camps on the right-hand side, because Navi, they already collected theirs earlier, so going to be trying to equalize that. But no, actually, she pulls back towards the lane here, having had to defend. Sylvanas is always such a threat in pushing, and it's funny because usually she doesn't really come into play that much in general, and in particular on Blackout's Bay, you know, because it's not necessarily a pushing map. You know, you want to win fights, you want to have some good map control and get the turn in. But in this case, it's not going to do too bad against these buildings. I'm
particularly scared of when they're going to have Wailing Arrow as well later on down the line. It can be a huge, huge game changer in those team fights. If you get a good Wailing Arrow to be able to actually silence the entirety of your opponent's team, can be a big, big deal.
It's that time again.
Yeah, it's going to be those hard camps, the easy camp pushing towards the bottom, and now buying a little bit of time here for Dignitas to commit to this chest very quickly. One thing that's important to know is actually Karazim is one of the best support characters to pick up on this map, because he's able to chunk down that chest very, very quickly. It takes a certain number of hits, not a certain damage threshold.
Yeah. And he's very good at kicking very fast. Basically.
Oh, yes, he is. He's a speed demon, man. Bruce Lee got melted on Bakery.
Ooh, Zagara getting caught again at the bottom.
Very, very close. Might end up going down there for the attempt, and he's actually still poisoned. Oh, Bakery's able to save him from any kind of poisons that will lay down onto him. Good moves here by Bakery to save Zagara.
Yeah, and Bakery is actually the one carrying 6 coins here, so he's going to have to be very careful. If he was to get killed, and again, Karazim's pretty fragile himself, he could be dropping those coins. I'm pretty sure that's what Navi would love to have happen.
Up to the top. Oh, okay. Arthas was looked in on the minimap to be in a little bit of a predicament there, but not so much. It's only Leoric and Johanna actually chasing on down against him. Level 9 against level 8 at the moment. Dignitas with a little bit of an experience lead, doing well. You can already see Sylvanas trying to take that easy camp
and
to apply
because of that, they are pushing in here, Team Dignitas, and doing quite a bit of damage here to this wall.
If they get that tower up towards the top here before this easy camp actually does anything, that could push them towards level 10 very, very quickly here. JayPL taking some damage from those banelings, trying to slow this down. They want to keep that tower alive because they know if it pops, level 10 will become a factor, and they've got to be very, very careful about it.
This is the most awkward 2v2 of all time here. Nobody's ever dying. Oh. But ScHwimpi is actually going pretty low.
ScHwimpi going low. Jaina there with a lot of power from behind. That's going to be a howling blast. Oh, that's going to be a kill down on towards Johanna. A brilliant pickup. Level 10 is here as well. That is the opportunity. Still more damage going down on towards Alex Pro G. Doesn't have his rate wall just yet. Very close. And he's going to go down to the elemental as JayPL here tries to save the coins. He's in a lot of trouble as well, though. Zarmony's going to go big. He doesn't have mana. But here comes Zagara.
Dignitas finally getting the momentum. They never really were able to get in the European regionals, where again they lost 0-3, but now level 10 was gained by Navi, and they're looking to try and turn things around.
Coming in towards this, that's going to be a great strike here from Ethernal to actually pick up one of the kills. Already going on, great burst shield, actually good assay over all the Holy Radiance there from Splendour, and he was able to get another kill down, so 2 trade off there. Good rotation around from Navi to try and salvage the situation.
Yeah, Team Dignitas going deep, getting a few kills, but not pulling back early enough, and now getting punished for it. And this was actually, they completely caught up here with this Navi. Experience-wise, they're just a little bit behind. They really brought it back here with that last huge rotation and flank here.
And at the same time, you've got to wonder where all the coins really are. I think Dignitas at the moment has every single coin on them.
They've got 18 in total.
18 in total.
They're
against
rich.
0 at the moment, with Zarmony carrying around a lot here. He could almost have a whole turn in himself, and that might be their game plan. I mean, if they can get Zarmony just for the full turn in here, if they're able to wrestle back some of this mid-map control.
Oh, Bakery.
Navi's getting very aggressive here. They realize Bakery is actually doing this easy cap, and they're going to even use Whaley Arrow to try and get the kill, and that is a big commitment, but it's a good one. They're able to steal the easy cap away. Atheroangel, where is he going? This is no man's land. Throws down Sanctification to try and get out of here in this scary predicament that he's in there as JayPL whirls away. That's a good disengage more here to try and keep them alive.
Yeah, but that's another heroic here that had to be used for them to disengage. And Dignitas, that was a pretty scary loss here. You know, Bakery doing this on his own, not having any vision, not seeing anybody on the minimap. They should have pulled back earlier, and now Navi, they might just be getting that very easy turn in here.
Yeah, and
ideally for them.
They've wrestled coins away. They've gained themselves, even just with that 1 kill alone, with the control of that section of the map. They've gained
Zaga's trying to interrupt.
Is she going to be able to do much? I don't think so.
No, she was going to go there, but I think adrd realized that was going to be too dangerous. So full turn in, level 13 about to hit here for both teams.
Yeah, Navi have done a really good job of getting themselves back after that. Look, a bit more of a disaster in the start of the early game. They've really solidified themselves moving towards this level 13 here, as Dignitas is trying to just find a position towards the bottom. This would be an ambitious hard camp if they were going to take it, because there's so much Navi presence. We do have the Shrink Ray coming in at level 13 here for Uther, as well as we look across the level 13 talents. Actually, the Burning Rage along with extra Frost Shot capability. Double Relentless on the side here as they're trying to blow up JayPL. He was very far forward. Bakery goes in for the Radiant Dash. Doesn't quite get the mark though. Doesn't quite hit for the final blow there on towards JayPL.
They won't contest here. Johanna went to the mid, so Navi won't be fighting a 4-on-5. They will just stay at the bottom with enough heroes here to make sure they can defend against this camp, plus the pushing power here of their opponents. Meanwhile, Johanna in the middle is soaking, and Arthas is looking to try and get a full turn in here on his own. He's got enough.
Yeah, exactly. This was the game plan all along. Bank up enough on him and then be able to get that full turn in. That's going to start bombarding the top here very, very quickly. And I'm wondering actually how the structural integrity is up towards the top here as that continues on. So they're going to get themselves quite a hefty amount of damage done up towards here and some good experience to try and catch up with Navi.
Oh, the survivability from Team Dignitas, from all their heroics, their composition, and even the talents is going to be incredible. It's Arthas with Army of the Dead, Bakery on the Karazim with Divine Palm, and Sanctification on the Ethereal. Double Relentless on Karazim and Arthas. Like, that team is barely ever going to die, it seems like.
Relentless at level 13 for Karazim became a true staple when you're going into these kinds of fights. One thing that's very important about Karazim is his healing is very, very close to where he actually has to be. This is a big turning point though for Navi. They're going to try and get it. That's a double route going down on towards 2 of them. They're only able to get 6 coins. Dignitas straight into the fight. That's a 4-man Whaley Arrow. And the palm actually was able to go off there. Right at the very end of it. They're trying to save Bakery there as well. And he will be able to run away. Divine Shield gets popped onto the Euro. They're pushing against Ethereal here. Then I don't think they're going to be able to get anyone. Dignitas is able to disengage. I don't think they want to be sticking around there. They are very, very low right now.
They turn around for a second because Ethernal was very far out. But Dignitas, I think they realized that they couldn't fight here. They were too low on hit points. Every single one of their heroics were used. So their only choice was to pull back and make sure that they don't take a bad fight that they will regret taking later.
All right, so I'm just getting word as well that one of the monitors is just having a few issues here. So not the same issue that we had before, so we shouldn't be having too many delays whilst we get back into this. And that fight as a whole was crazy. considering the fact that nobody died on Dignitas' side after being caught in that precarious position, and even the Leoric actually being able to just march on forwards and do some big damage there with having his Divine Shield on.
It seems like, you know, the execution from a lot of these teams, like as much as it's better from some teams than the other, most of the time, like they're all going to be good enough to go for the proper execution, but pre-fight positioning and the way they engage very often is a determining factor in who wins those big fights. And so far, Dignitas, they were doing well at first, but in the last fight, I really didn't like the way they were engaging into that fight.
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult, and I was a little bit worried they were going to re-engage there at the very end, but they seem to have been fine with disengaging from that position.
Yeah.
But look at how this first game has played out so far. Very even, very down the line. We've had 2 turn-ins from Team Dignitas to 1 turn-in from Team Navi, who
well, it's going to be too soon.
Oh, yeah, probably. Considering the fact that they've just been able to push away Team Dignitas after them being quite low here. I think we're going to be going back into the game pretty soon here, guys, onto Blackheart's Bay once again, as I think we're almost close to having those little issues solved.
Well, since you gave your word, I'm going to take it and wait for it to come.
Yeah, I don't want to sort out some like Kyalaris curse here or anything like that, but in my
You were right last time.
In my defense, it was about 5 minutes last time we actually got into that.
Imagine
so
you get it right twice.
the Kyalaris blessing is here. All praise me. There you go.
Please.
No, I don't want to go that far. That would be a little bit bad.
It's a bit weird, you know, Navi from the start of that game, they didn't look that good. You know, they were not doing well with their push at the bottom. They fell behind in experience. There were a few takedowns that seemed unnecessary, but they really gained momentum in the last few minutes. And it seemed like Leoric and Johanna in particular became really useful in those last few minutes in terms of being at the front, being very annoying, and tanking all the damage. Letting their assassins, damage dealers here do all the work.
The holdable position is really strong. I feel that the narrower the choke point before level 16 here, the better it is for Navi. But as level 16 kicks in, once Holy Ground becomes a factor for Tyrael, that can get pretty scary for Navi. They're going to have to really think about their positioning from that point on.
I talked earlier about how it can be hard to synchronize some of these heroics as well. And, you know, my example was Void Prison and Ethernal Bass. But in this game, with Divine Paul on Karazim and Sanctification on TRL, how do you properly synchronize who uses which first? It must be really hard. Surely. I guess TRL's general guideline for Sanctification will be to just wait until they've taken a little bit of damage and it gets really dangerous, then pop it. And Karazim will try, for the most part, to keep that in mind and wait until one hero in particular is getting bursted down. And then try to use the Divine Palm at the last second so we can save him. But maybe it doesn't sound that hard anymore once you see it like that, but I'm pretty sure that it's very hard to properly execute.
I completely understand your train of thought. It can be very difficult. I mean, if you pop that palm whilst everyone is in Sanctification, and then it is just completely wasted, unless he goes for Peaceful Riposte at level 20, then it becomes a bit easier to coordinate those kinds of things.
If they both try to save the same guy, and that could be bad. So communication is going to be key. Usually you want to try to make some kind of deal with whoever you're going to be trying to synchronize with before the game even starts, so that you have, you know, some kind of guidelines yourselves. And it's going to be very important for them to be on point with this Team Dignitas, because Navi, they were starting to gain momentum. If they get another turn in here, which they will by the look of things before we went into a pause here, they're going to be getting a good experience lead, and then from there, beating a team like Navi when they're ahead is incredibly hard. I feel like it almost never happens anymore. I mean, they barely lose at all.
Yeah, I think one thing that really excites me about how this game has gone on so far, though, is that it looks like Dignitas is not willing to roll over as easily as they were in the European Championship. And overall, it's a really cool marker to start off this series, because this could really be a very, very close series between these two. But I'm getting word now that our game is ready here to go back into things as we start it up once again. We're halfway into this, onto Blackheart's Bay. Let's jump back on in. Navi is looking for the turn-in, but Dignitas is actually coming back here to the point where they want to scramble and try and stop them from doing that.
Wow, it really felt like they were going to be pulling back and not trying to fight anymore. Bakery goes down because of this. They re-engaged too early. Athero wasn't there.
And those Banelings actually moving forwards. Dignitas still trying to delay this out for as long as possible. They've got to be careful. Alex the Proji is coming in from the right-hand side here, looking for a flank, looking to make sure that they can get that turn in properly.
Dignitas really doesn't want Navi to get the full turn in here for some reason, but I think it might be unavoidable. They stayed way too long there, and again, trying to slow it down. They did, but they lost their support here for a second. So now Dignitas, they have to pull back, they have to go for camps, they have to wait a little bit, and level 16 will be reached earlier for Navi here.
All right, well, still bombarding up towards the top here and trying to do as much damage as possible. With that easy camp being taken towards the bottom, Dignitas is going to try and apply pressure down there as well, as this already, with the fort going down up towards the top here. Now the bombardment continues towards the bottom. Navi is gaining a little bit of an experience lead here. You can really see the power behind it with those level 16 talents coming in. We've got blood for blood. We've got extra power into the Shadow Dagger there on the Sylvanas. They're looking to take the boss here, and there's nothing that's going to be able to contest with whatsoever.
Yeah. They knew they had a good window, but unlike Dignitas, they knew that this was going to be happening, so they're trying to push at the bottom right now here to get a fort, and most likely they're going to have to, I guess, head back to defend that boss, because otherwise it's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. I mean, we're at the 12th minute, so they're just going to use their Hearthstone and head on back home. Right. Cute little cancel here from ScHwimpi on one of these Hearthstones.
Yeah, still pushing towards the middle here, our Team Navi. Dignitas, of course, it's 4 kills to 4 kills, but there's been more structural damage properly here done towards them. As adrd and the boys going to lay in the wings. Oh, that is not the right mode that they want here at all. adrd trying to scramble into a position. Alex is going to be blocking him out. There's the actual strafe doing big damage, but the Sanctification soaked up a lot of it. So here now, Dignitas just trying to scramble against this boss. They haven't lost anyone to the mid, and that is very important here against Navi, who are split pushing properly.
What the hell was that panic maw? That's very unusual of adrd to go for something like this.
So trying to seal him in there. The Wraithwalk's going to be able to get him out. Of all the people to catch, it's not Alex that you want, because Wraithwalk will get him away from holy ground.
Not one of the heroes that you can properly trap and kill. Man, that maw, it reminded me of all those videos that we show, you know, during the draft to show how those heroics work, which are always used against just minions.
Oh yeah, not the best of positions, that's for sure. Holy ground gets thrown forwards once again, and Navi, it does not want any of this fight. They're playing it patiently. You can see them now moving into a slightly more PvE role here on a map when they've got the experience advantage, because if they can push themselves towards level 20 whilst playing PvE, that would be fantastic.
Look at what Dignitas is doing. Actually, both teams, they went for camps while they left enough heroes in the middle of the map to make sure that the opponents could go for turning. But with the chess coming at this stage in the game, there's going to be a fight, and whoever wins it's going to get a turn in at a big lead.
And there's the Athero throwing himself across there with Eldrarune's Might on towards the chest, so they're going to be able to pick up a lot of coins to start things off.
It's so funny, Navi actually let them collect, and they want to collect these coins back from their dead bodies. They're like, take it, we'll just take it back in a minute, because we won't let you turn in.
And Athero trying to buy time here with Holy Ground for that turn in to go down, get 6 coins in. Bakery, will he get it? No, Shield Glare. It's going to be enough there for ScHwimpi to try and deny it. Also the multi-shots trying to slow down all of this from going on. Just the poking potential here from Navi is very strong, as Athero and the Warriors here just holding the front lines. The standoff continues in these bushes.
That's crazy, actually, how both of these teams just won't budge. And right now, it looks like Navi, they might have made peace already with the fact that they won't be able to get a turn in themselves, so they kind of try and rotate towards the middle. They're trying to soak on multiple lanes, bottom, mid, but bottom lane was pushed enough that they couldn't. So I think ideally, Navi, they are okay with not getting the turn in immediately. They'd love to hit level 20 earlier and then making sure that they get it, because if Dignitas fights without 20 against level 20, they're going to be in so much trouble. They're going to be getting crushed. And right now, I think Dignitas should be the one team to try and maybe engage before that happens.
Navi, oh, there's Johanna trying to pick him up there, realizing they could have potentially been in the book. The Wild Elemental's gone down as well. Sanctification's been used already by Dignitas to try and get themselves a kill already here with the Army of the Dead also walking forward. I think Navi wants to disengage here. It's not going to be easy though. There's another Holy Ground. Divine Shield's been thrown down on towards Johanna. They're trying to blow him up as quickly as possible. Even if they get her, Splendour is in the back lines. Johanna goes down, and Uber ends up falling as well. That's a 2 for 0. Oh, with the ball! I didn't even realize 2 more members fall. That's 4 for 0 here for the Dignitas to be able to pick that up and gain a massive experience boost forwards.
Dignitas playing as one, isolating 3 heroes away from the other 2, taking them down very quickly, and then using a moth to turn around and kill 4 heroes in total. They just they can go for the keep.
They're looking for big damage here. They've got 30 seconds available to them. They're already going on towards this keep. This is a guaranteed kill. Even after this, look how many coins they have as well here. Dignitas is really ramping up the pressure and has now taken the experience advantage to move them on forwards to level 20.
That's exactly what it needed. A big fight win like this. That's what it came down to in the end. The engagement was beautiful. ScHwimpi getting caught out of position. You might think, yeah, Johanna, not the end of the world, but it took so much damage. Divine Shield was forced to be used on him as well, and the rest of this team, the team was split. Dignitas so far in these semifinals here, they're the team that's playing as one.
Is this another keep? Is this another keep with the cannon barrage coming in from Blackheart here? It could potentially be. That being said, there were still a few structures towards the middle, so maybe not. But getting this extra experience will push them forward to level 20. I don't think they're going to get an opportunity to use that 20 against the lack of 20 here from Navi because of their positioning at the moment, but at least they'll have it in their arsenal.
And the bots will come back in 20 seconds here as both teams are nearing here that final heroic boost here that you can get if you want to go for it here on level 20.
How many coins overall are we looking at for each of the teams here, Todd?
Quite a few. I think there is 15 on Navi and about the same on Dig.
Dignitas already getting a big turn in here. They've got a lot of coins available to them, but it's not the full turn-in just yet. That one coin off Zagara has it technically, I believe. She could try and go for that turn-in here, and she is going to go for it. This could be big if they're able to get this. It's not going to be denied at all. Dignitas is buying time down towards the bottom here against Navi, and that is a full turn-in once again here going over to Team Dignitas. I think also moving it forwards here. ScHwimpi's taking quite a bit of damage. They're looking for it. Sanctification's been thrown down. Trying to keep Johanna alive during all of this. Alex is in the back lines, but that's another holy ground. Trying to go to the divine shield here to seal him down. With also that more sealing out JayPL. There's the invincible pop by ScHwimpi though. He will be able to keep himself for a little bit longer. And it looks like the palm is going to be able to save Bakery. Zarmony's going to take a lot of damage though at the front lines as well. How is he still alive? Lyubomir falls. Oh my god here. With Dignitas being able to turn around this and the cannon barrage still going on. They go for more. They get themselves the Uther.
They're just not losing any of those fights. They're on the chase right now. And Navi are going to be able to make it out, but already having lost 2 heroes, they're going to be in a bit of trouble.
Brilliant little moves here as well, as Redemption will be able to get Uther back into this fight. Maybe they can actually turn something around here. And ScHwimpi still in this back line. He's going to take a lot of damage. And is invincible. And Johanna ends up being crushed into oblivion, with Uther also going down as well. Bakery is looking for more here. They have a brilliant opportunity now to do some big damage.
Yeah, Navi, they have some great pushing force in the top lane here against the keep of Dignitas across the map, but losing so many heroes, they tilted a little bit here for sure. They were not supposed to turn around and try and go for a fight when they were outnumbered. They lost patience. This is very uncharacteristic here of Navi, and Dignitas playing so much better than the last time these two met. They're the ones right now putting in some serious work.
They're in a position where they can try and scrape back all of that momentum that Navi would have had, considering their last performance against one another on an official stage here, as it will be peaceful reports coming out from a Bakery. So now every time he throws down a palm, if it doesn't pop, he will have an insurance policy against that. And that makes it, all in all, a very powerful little potential position that they have here.
That's the best explanation I've ever heard for a talent, man. I almost feel as if it should be called that, the insurance policy right there, because that's exactly what it is. Both of these teams are going to group up around the mid-chest, and we could have another fight here. Athero about a little bit of time, I think.
That's a big turn-in. That's a very big turn-in. Can Snitch get this? Oh, slightly out of range there was Alex, and they get themselves the full turn-in. So Alex now pushing on forwards against Dignitas. They can disengage though if they want. They're going to try. March to the black egg gets interrupted, and they're going to the ball there. Wow, what a move to be able to disengage away here for Dignitas.
Yeah, I think they know that this bottom keep is going to be dying across the map, and unless they fight now and lose, they should be in a great position here to win this game. So disengaging was the best thing they could do, and they used Devouring Maw and TRL beautifully here in order to do this. And I think right now, Navi are trying to force a fight. They know that they're behind. They need to win a big fight right now if they want to be able to win this game. So they're going to try to force a fight by faking that they're going for the boss. Oh, they might be able to get that fight.
Looking on towards Athero, this could be a really cool move here by Navi already. We actually see the sanctification being used at the front. Leoric has already gone down in this fight. Wailing Arrow's been used. The boss is slamming on towards JayPL. Oh my god, he blinks away. Very close call. But now he's being pinned in there for a moment. And he may end up falling here. He's very close to them. He's got 12 points on him. He ends up going down. So does Zagara as well. So Varnas has been popped over there. They need those points back. That's so important here. With Snitch trying to challenge on against Ethernal. Another divine palm has been popped here, and it won't actually go down if they don't require it at all. That's a 4-for-1 trade overall. And they're going to pick up all of these coins and walk away. Brilliant moves by Dignitas. They're going onto the core. I didn't even think about it actually now that we look at it. They've got 30 or 40 seconds left available to them. ScHwimpi's trying to delay it out, but it's not going to be enough at all. This is going to be Dignitas here, pushing on towards the core here, and they're trying to march here as Alex tries to find some desperate last moments here in game number 1. But look at the score. It's 17 kills against 5. Sanctification goes down for one last time here, and that will be game number 1 going over to Team Dignitas, and they'll get a little bit of retribution back here against Navi. What a game to start these semi-finals.
Retribution is the word, as Dignitas, they want their revenge here. Again, these two teams we've seen face off in the European regionals, and back then it was all about Navi that won 3-0. It seems like the roles have been reversed here at BlizzCon.
It seems so. I'm just catching my breath a little bit. Once again, these games are extremely exciting for me. Grubby joins us once again here at the desk. Obviously, there were so many back and forth moments there in that game to start things off. Are there any particular moments that really stood out to you?
Well, Kalaris, it's never an easy moment for both these two teams as they face each other in a knockout. But I just want to show one moment here which I feel like summarizes the game the best here in this Windows 10 game DVR replay. Here we've got, I'm going to pause it for a second. Here we've got one of the many moves by Atheroangel where he uses Holy Ground to catch the frontline warrior, in particular ScHwimpi on Johanna, many times. We see ScHwimpi has the talent choices Conviction at level 7 and Fanaticism at level 16. Both of them give movement speed, either when using his W Condemn or using the Iron Skin, which makes him unstoppable, and every damage he takes, he becomes faster. So that is kind of his escape, but he cannot move through walls. And the Holy Ground functions like a wall. Actually, when you look at the game, Team Dignitas has been winning most of the fights, but we had the game starting with Natus Vincere winning the map, getting more experience.
Yes.
But these fights have started to really compound into a bigger and bigger problem. Here is one of the many moments where Holy Ground managed to catch a kill. This was a very long chase in a 5 versus 5. They are still, to a degree, chasing ScHwimpi. Zarmony there, getting shrink rate. And now we have the full split. And in this moment, you've got to consolidate. I'm pausing it right here. You've got Johanna getting caught again, and also we have Splendour caught here as well. Up here, we've got 2 heroes from Navi who essentially have made it out. Now, losing a fight now would be bad, but they're still 1.2 levels ahead, Navi. Losing 1 or 2 heroes would be an acceptable sacrifice at this moment. As we play the game again, we can see that we have more sacrifices being made. We have the Divine Shield on Johanna, but cannot get away. Uther now dies as well, and that should be it. But we shouldn't have 2 trying to peel for some allies all the way on the other side, and this turned a pretty bad moment into practically a disaster with a 4-man wipe. And if they had decided early only Johanna, that would be it. If they said Johanna and Uther only, that would be it. But they came back, and I can only say it's, as Todd said, it's some kind of tilt where they were trying to save each other. As much as you want, when you can't, you just have to let it go. And they were unable to let it go. And Dignitas, with their superior team fighting, were able to get a huge jackpot here.
I think one thing that's important to note during that series, that first game as well, is that the Dignitas, Team Dignitas front line held so strongly. Neither Arthas or Tyrael died at all during that game. So something like 17 takedowns each to 0 deaths during that. So very strong front line. It's the front line that you actually see Team Dignitas being most comfortable with a Tyrael, with an Arthas. Athero and Zarmony couple up really nice together with those 2 heroes.
We talk about this, it's kind of hard to die when you have Sanctification, Army of the Dead, and then Bakery as a Kazim. It's like, shame on you if you die. Only I could achieve that.
So many awesome Divine Palms here. I really feel like, I mean, the whole team played really awesomely, but Karazim with the Divine Palms and Atheroangel with the Tyrael play, and of course, I mean, all of them played amazing, but these 2 are like the most flashy and really made some epic plays.
What a game to start off our semi-finals here. It was definitely worth the wait. We're going to go to a short break, but before we actually do that here, let's hear from Team Dignitas as to what they think about their team captain.
adrd puts a lot of time into looking at other teams, looking at drafts, looking at the way that team comps play into and around each other, and that just makes him able to shotcall and draft really effectively.
I think the most important thing that adrd can do for us this weekend is make sure that we're prepared with the strategy that we want to play and that we all know exactly how we have to perform that strategy. Because I think if we get in a situation where we know exactly what we want to do and he can bring us there, we can easily take any game.
I think the biggest thing that adrd can bring for us this weekend is probably adapting in between games. If we lose the first game of the series, adapting why we lost, what they did well, how we can counter that.
He's like the drafter, the shot caller, so we kind of like trust him and listen to him.
I'm mostly responsible for our drafts, and when we are in game, everyone can shot call something, but I usually make the final decision.
For honor and glory!
I am the first of the Dryads.
Court will belong to the Gravekeeper.
Heroes, prepare for the arena.
For trouble! Make it double!
I feel a lot of pressure to deliver in the BlizzCon because we are crowned as a Europe champion and I want to continue that streak. Can we retake?
Yeah.
Thank you. We feel a lot of pressure here at BlizzCon because we're kind of a favorite to win the whole thing, so it's a bit too much pressure. Retake! Okay, I'm just gonna say we don't feel pressure.
Okay, that's fine.
Here at BlizzCon we don't feel that much pressure, since we know what we can do and it will go good.
I'm glad ScHwimpi is more decisive in-game than he is during these interviews, that's for sure. Didn't go quite as well for them as it would normally here, as they are a dominant force here in the World Championship, but already they have had a little bit of a struggle here to start out this series. Team Dignitas taking game number 1. Was that expected here, Grubby? Did you really expect Dignitas to fly out of the gates like that?
I expected them to play better, but I expected them to look better while losing.
Okay.
I had so much confidence in Navi that I expected, yes, Navi will take it again, but it'll look a lot harder. I'm quite surprised to see them take the opening match here.
Yep, very, very strong performance by them here, as very soon we'll be getting into game number 2, of course, between Team Dignitas and Natus Vincere. But Todd, looking at that game, how it played out, you were alongside here casting with me for that game. What a great little game to start off our semi-final.
Absolutely. You can really feel the progression from the last time these two teams met. Dignitas, they've had the time to think back on these games, have some reflection, and be able to tell themselves, well, you know what, next time we play them, we think we're pretty good. Let's just do our thing, win some fights, and we're going to be okay. That's exactly what happened. They just engaged beautifully every single time, and the drafts were very equal. Again, I think you say that as well, Grubby, but I personally think that these drafts were very equal in terms of potential.
Yeah,
maybe to some people it was obvious. They were like, oh yeah, sanctification and
Yeah, but you saw a lot of disengaged potential with that movement speed on Johanna.
Yeah.
They always tried to get away when Sanctification was cast, which was probably the right thing. But yeah, just like you said, we cannot boil it down to a game of drafts here, because we saw a lot of missed heroics on both sides. Maybe nerves rattling, maybe a bit the delay setting in, but you can just see that there was a lot of execution at stake here. Blessed Shields going haywire, Mauls missing. So on both sides, mistakes. Seems like Dignitas made the fewer.
That is for sure. Now we are ready, ladies and gentlemen, to get into draft number 2 here for the Heroes of the Storm World Championship semi-finals. As Team Dignitas leads 1-0, we are going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we are back to what we consider the EU meta. It will be Tyrael getting banned to start things off for Natus Vincere.
And not again, says Navi. We don't want to have to play against that guy again. He's just too tough to deal with.
No more invulnerability on both sides. No Divine Shield, no Sanctification.
Everybody's mortal now, except Johanna.
Yeah, exactly. Who literally is invincible at level 20.
Quite literally.
Quite literally.
As we saw last game. Wait.
Uh-oh. Whoopsie daisies. Oh well, for now, let's see what Navi wants to pick up as their first pick. Do they go back to their aggressive tendencies? Do they? Oh well, it's going to be the Jaina, the jack of all trades, fits into any composition. Quite strong, Grubby.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say about this hero that we haven't already said. Can slow enemy movement speed by 35%, every basic or heroic ability she uses on them. It's pretty useful to kite people away or to surprise them and get early game kills, as well as that so deadly level 16 and level 20 power spike she has.
Yes, indeed. And now Team Dignitas has 2 picks themselves. Now remember our previous bans as to what we had. We had Sonya being the first ban over against Team Dignitas from Navi in our previous game. On Tomb of the Spider Queen, do they go for something like that? Is that something that Team Dignitas would like early on?
Definitely possible. I think, by the way, it's interesting. An interesting thing to note here that this is Team Dignitas' map pick here, because Navi had the first ban and first pick.
Yes.
Team Dignitas picked Tomb of the Spider Queen, on which they are known to be really good. But all alike, Navi also very good on this map. Gonna be opening with the cars in very early here.
Wow.
They just love that hero. I mean, Bakery goes so well every single time with it, and Kerrigan comes out now.
And this is very interesting because overall, Kerrigan here has no invulnerability. The Uther is gone, Tyrael is gone. They're going to be running a Kerrigan here that's going to be slightly naked in that sense, but still having the proper shield.
Our opponents won't have any invulnerability as well.
That's true. Maelstrom can be a big factor here when it comes into these team fights. As long as you're able to keep Kerrigan alive, that Maelstrom is going to power down on these very tight battles that we're currently having in this meta, Grubby.
Yeah, not just the enemy heroes will get damaged, from which you will get shield assimilation, but also if you're in the middle of spider web waves, the spider web weavers, and all the little minions, you get so much bonus shields, she becomes virtually unkillable anyway. And if it gets worse, you've always got Divine Palm from Karazim coming in.
Yeah. And who better than Bakery than to land it?
Exactly.
Yeah, totally true. That will obviously put Kerrigan in a little bit of stasis there for a moment. But we get Johanna, and Tyrande is going to be following things up. We already touched briefly on Tyrande being a very strong pick for Navi in the past, and it comes out now.
A little bit strange to go for Johanna rather than Muradin then. But I guess with the next bans coming up, they can ban that if they want to make sure that Dignitas don't grab it themselves.
Sonya is going to get removed, generally very powerful hero. I thought maybe we'll see that Muradin ban as well. But that may be up to Navi. They're going to have to make a choice here.
We could definitely see that coming out. I mean, the thing is, though, is that Team Dignitas, well, there you go. I mean, with being limited from having a Tyrael available to them, we're probably going to see Team Dignitas now moving over towards the Arthur's picks, etc. Something like that, as they've already shown, is very strong for them.
Yeah, this is one of the best battlegrounds for Kerrigan, bar none or maybe one, together with Haunted Mines.
Yes.
It's a very close combat battleground where Kerrigan get a lot of kills in the early game. And what better to pair her up with than something like an Arthas?
Yeah, it was very important to remove the Muradin. The ETC comes out into play.
Chinese metagame.
Dignitas.
It's time to come out from the shadows and jump on top of everybody, because that is what we're going to see. We're going to see power slides. We're going to see combos from Kerrigan coming out. Power slide here for ETC. Very powerful, along with Mosh Pit as well. We have seen that come into play very strongly against these couple of compositions.
Maybe they were afraid that Navi would go for it as well, because we've seen ETC and Tyrande really come into play very well together with Shadowstalk. Maybe time for a Kalthas here, because Dignitas, they need some extra damage. They need a damage dealer that's ranged here.
Right, 3 melee heroes so far, even though they have 3 different roles. You don't want to get too many there. Excellently predicted there, Kael'thas, with the range stun and massive amounts of area of effect damage. And pretty decent burst as well on a single target.
Yeah, looking at that lineup there for Team Dignitas now, I won't be surprised later on if their pickup was another warrior maybe, like the Arthurs to actually couple up with all of that. But going over to Team Na'Vi now, what do they need? Do they need a proper support here? What are they going for?
I like the dual off support with Tassadar here. Helps a lot to protect against Kerrigan, ETC burst damages. He's himself pretty escapable as well if he can get away from those stuns using Dimensional Shift.
It's a great.
How about Diablo? Taronde and Diablo. Na'Vi are the one team that can run this kind of composition very well together.
Okay, it's going to be Brightwing, so we have a real support. Diablo's still an option. We have somewhat limited range damage with Jaina and Taronde functioning a bit as off damage, so even an assassin or a very high damage warrior would make sense here. Arthas is possible, Falstad is still a possibility,
yeah.
Vala.
I mean, whatever they go for here, if they do end up going for the damage path, then that is extreme damage that they could put out with Hunter's Mark available, Jaina, any damage following it up, and also the good control of Brightwing with Polymorph as well, to even add a bit more vulnerability that if they want to go down that path.
The thing is, whoever they go for later, they need to think about the opponent's composition. You know, ETC and Kerrigan running towards you and using power slides.
Yes.
Primal Grasp stunning you and doing a lot of damage to you. You need to get one of these warriors, if they want to go for a warrior, that's going to be able to survive or escape against this kind of combo. Somebody like an Anubarak maybe. So a Diablo, as good as it could be. Maybe in this game it seems a little bit difficult, but they go for it anyway. They have faith in their Diablo once again here.
Lord of Terror, his ability Shadow Charge and Overpower combined together magnificently to flip someone into your own backline and finish them off with all due haste.
Let's see how this is going to work out. We've seen Diablos in the past couple of games that it's been ran, moving in, and actually, sorry, I've seen it in scrims, moving in and then actually just dying off pretty quickly. But with a Johanna in support as a warrior to help on out, spreading that damage a little bit between them, I think Diablo has a lot of good room here to actually get done what he needs to do.
And Dignitas now, they got quite a few options to pick from. The 2 most likely ones, I think, would probably be another warrior like Arthas or a ranged assassin to try and add some extra damage to what they've already got.
Maybe Tassadar. It could be a ranged assassin, could be Arthas, could be Tassadar. They have a fair amount of options because all roles have been represented.
Tassadar actually would really help in giving a shield to Kerrigan and providing some extra survivability. It's going to be Leoric.
All right, got that second warrior. One of the best Tomb of the Spider Queen gem pick uppers in the game. Leoric is going to be undying for much of it, and he's got options. He can go for Entomb, March of the Black King. Once again, we are not going to know for sure, even though we may have an inkling. And that closes out the draft for now.
Yes, it does.
It's
what a draft.
The map where Leoric cares the least about dying, by the way, right? He comes back so fast, like he's just right back in there, middle of the map already. So really cool draft here.
Yeah, also, you know, obviously being able to clean up those waves pretty quickly when the web weaves are moving along. Skeletal Swing is going to clean that up quite fast. Not as fast as the previous patch, but still pretty fast here as we now get loaded up onto Tomb of the Spider Queen. So far, we've had a fantastic game number 1. What a way to start off our semi-finals. Make sure as well to join the conversation on Twitter with the @eSports Heroes as well as #HeroesWC. Also include your hashtag for which team you think is going to win. Right now, just a slight edge going over to Na'Vi out there, but at the same time, Dignitas is definitely in a good position to try and round this out. Thank you very much, Scrubby, for joining us for the draft. We'll be checking in with you a little bit later on, but for now, we are ready to get into game number 2 here for our semi-finals. Team Na'Vi goes up against Team Dignitas here as we begin things on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And to the left-hand side, it will be Na'Vi with Alex the Pro G going to be playing on Johanna. Ethernal is on Jaina. JayPL will be on Diablo. ScHwimpi playing on the ever so graceful Tyrande. And Splendour will be on Brightwing. Then to the right-hand side, we have Team Dignitas with adrd on Kael'thas. Athero will be on ETC. Bakery on Karazim. Snitch will be playing Kerrigan. And finally, we have Zarmony going to be on the Leoric.
Team Dignitas, they were able to seize the moments in map number 1 on the map of Na'Vi and beat them on it. Now it's up for Navi to try and do the same thing here on tomorrow's Battle Queen.
Both teams are going to be trying to delay out this wave. You'll see this a lot from both of these teams in the EU meta. They've really kind of had this little style that hit them very, very strongly. The more that you can try and block this as a full team, the better it is for you during that big engagement that goes on in the middle as it gets closer towards yours. But when they both do it, it kind of negates each other's movements.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's see if they actually want to try and go for it. Both teams, they have to be very cautious here. I feel like it's really going to be for JayPL to try and make the plays here on the Diablo, for Navi to try and bring somebody back and maybe land one stun or two on him.
I feel that Diablo's a good counter initiator. When it comes to Athero and Sjorgren trying to charge on in there, if Diablo is present, he has the ability to try and just launch someone in towards their towers and cause problems.
But at the same time, when facing a Sjorgren and an ETC, it can be really tricky. If he's out of position for just 1 second, you know, I talked about how ETC comes in, he's mounted up, and you already know that you're going to be in so much trouble. Uses power slide, you're caught, and then you die.
Definitely. Now Navi has to play this one out pretty slowly. I feel that Team Dignitas has some good power early on in this game. It all really revolves around that Sjorgren combo that we do see being so important here. And we're already seeing Tyrande speccing into towards Hunter's Mark. So the ability to have that available to her a little bit more often gives the potential for those blow-up capabilities here. As ETC already being marked there with Athero trying to get away from this. Alex the Pro G going very low as well. That will be first blood once again going over to Dignitas. And Athero gets away at 1-for-0 trade to start things off.
Yeah, very good job by Team Dignitas, salvaging the situation as they could. Look pretty bad at first, but they were able to secure the first blood and escape as well. Pulling in a little bit ahead of experience here. Not the end of the world though, just yet for Navi. They are going to need to be careful to do better just basically next time. They can't be caught like this and failing to get the takedowns and dying themselves.
One thing's for sure though, you can see already in Team Dignitas' composition, the power that it holds behind it in the early game. They just took down a Johanna early on, of all heroes. So you've definitely got to be very, very careful here as Navi. Some of the squishier characters gonna have to hang back and allow their tanks to do their business and tank.
And this time it's Alex as well, not ScHwimpi.
Great iron skin there, making sure that that power slide does not stun him out. Navi already going for a bit of a turn in there with JayPL, making sure he can get that going. And they're going for an attack. That's a great little combo there. Going on towards Chaos with that Lunar Flare following up. Perfect execution, but the counter as Tyrande ends up going down there with that power slide from Athero to help on out that stun. Very, very good little trade there overall.
Yeah, 1-for-1, Team Dignitas again. This didn't start out so well, but like I said, when you have ETC plus Sjorgren, you can just turn around, go for the squishies that are a little bit too far out because they do need to get close in order to deal the damage themselves. That was a nice punishment. Splendour should be okay for now.
Yep, just gets on away there. Any more ticks of that salt consumption or whatever, it would hurt him a little bit more. It's not called salt consumption, but I just can't remember at the moment. So we have actually focused attacks coming out from Tyrande, which is interesting. So kind of more over towards that auto attack build, considering they already have the Brightwing there for the proper support.
Yeah, and for now, it's just going to be both teams just kind of sitting back, collecting gems, not that much fighting just yet. It's very common on this map to have one team get a full turn in, then the opponents to get the next one, and not to have any kind of real massive fight before level 10. It feels like the games on this map, they're either super explosive or fairly passive at first, and then later down the line with bigger fights to come. Which so far this game being the latter.
It's already the turn in here coming from Team Dignitas. As we will see them just cleaning up towards the middle and trying to get those web weavers as close as possible to try and take this down. JayPL already been going for the fight, and that Lunar Flare actually missed that overall. Jabbo taking a lot of damage there. Athero with the team is going to back off for now, but that could have got a bit more sticky. It's good that it was a 5v4 in favor of Navi in that position.
A very uncharacteristic mistake here out of Navi. They rarely miss those stunts. Usually they synchronize very, very well. This is getting a little bit worrying, actually, you know, with them losing the first map and already showing here in this game that the execution is not as good as what we're used to be seeing here from them. They're definitely struggling a lot more than they are usually. I mean, they didn't lose a single map in the European regionals.
Yeah, they're having a harder time here against Dignitas. It certainly seems like some of the teams here have caught up with Navi a little bit while things were going on. Navi, during the EU regional, were probably a little bit more ahead of the meta with their own style, but Team Dignitas has been thinking about this a lot to try and counteract them, and it will be Lunar Blaze coming in for level 7 here for Tyrande, so all the more potential for that coupling up for Diablo as well as Tyrande to try and get some of those those kills at a little bit of extra range.
Yeah, Lunar Blaze increases the range of Lunar Flare quite a bit. You can stun from so far away with it, and it's going to be an even greater opportunity for her here at Atheroangel to land some of these better stuns down the line in those fights, which could become very important.
And all shift abilities being expected into that. Actually a great little follow up there on towards the Yorick. That's probably going to be a kill. And oh my god,
Alex
actually is able to get away from that position. Alex the Pro G going in pretty thick, but that will give them a full turn in here. And that is exactly what Navi needs to try and equalize up the experience gain.
Alex was trying to catch that Leoric here, wherever he was going to race walk to, but barely missed in the end. So nice save, I guess, from him. And now Dignitas, they found himself with a nice experience lead, but with the Web Weavers coming in, Navi's going to want to look to try and equalize here the experience count.
They're still looking to push on towards actually getting themselves the Brightwing to start things off, and Ethernal is in the zone.
They are 5 down there, and they get themselves 2 huge takedowns here. Those Team Dignitas. That rotation wasn't anticipated at all here. Navi definitely having trouble here with the way they're communicating here right now in this series so far.
Well, normally they stop from top to bottom to actually start cleaning things up, but they looked for opportunities, golden opportunities down towards the bottom lane, getting themselves a double kill, and then just being able to move on from there. They are going to be a whole level ahead here in the early game. That's a good combo coming out, but even without lingering apparition at level 7, Zarmony is still able to get out of there with his Wraith Walk.
Yeah, Team Dignitas really gaining momentum early here so far in the series, and so far they've been able to hold on to it, but now ideally for them, they would like to try and make something happen with level 10.
Definitely. You got it. I mean, with this, and there's such a good window as well here. You can see Navi really going for the consolation prize, knowing that they can't really contest it up towards the top, so they're going to try and take the hard camp towards the bottom because they don't have that 10.
And all alike, Team Dignitas know that Navi will be playing it slow, so they just go for a fort at the top. They say, you want to sit back, you want to go for camps, and make sure you soak level 10 first? Fine, we'll just grab your fort at the top, get that very easily, and then rotate on towards the middle to try and get our next turn in.
And they are going for it at the moment. Do they have enough gems to actually turn in here? I think they've got quite a lot indeed. The level 10s being in here. That's going to be the full Web Weaver turn in. With the level 10s of Mosh Pit, we have the Divine Palm as well as March, Phoenix and Maelstrom coming out as these Web Weavers become unleashed once again. They're trying to clean up these lanes and get them pushed as far as possible. If they could get the wall of forts here, that would be a massive pickup for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, I think ideally they're going to try to reach level 13 while Navi is still level 10 or 11 before going into any kind of fight. Kerrigan thought about it for a second, but not quite gonna jump in just yet.
Yeah, that clean kill at level 4 really allowing her to just power down a lot of these waves very, very quickly here, just jumping from minion to minion. JayPL coming in. Here comes Brightwing as well on towards JayPL. They're looking to try and delay out this middle lane here as the other Web Weavers are going to push in towards the other ones, but they can't really do too much. They've got the level 10s, Lightning Breath, Water Elemental, Blink Heal, Shadow Stalk, and Blessed Shield here, but they're not going to be able to save this position. Dignitas is in too much of a lead right now.
Yeah, this is what Navi's been waiting for a long time here. They could go down the line for some Shadow Stalk, try to come in from behind. Lightning Breath is something that's very easy to count out because of how little Diablos we see ever, really.
Yeah. If they land a Blessed Shield with Lightning Breath actually coupling up with all of that, it could be a catastrophe.
Yeah. Everything, really.
Yeah, it could be a lot of power coming out from them. They're going to send the Sentinel forwards. They reveal the position there of Team Dignitas as they're going to back it away. But they've got the forts. They got what they wanted. And the Yorick will just Wraith Walk away.
Yeah, I really like that Dignitas, they try to take it slow here. They just pull back. They're trying to make sure that they get level 13 before any kind of fight happens. You don't want to be fighting necessarily with your opponents when you're on equal talents. Even that Phoenix here, preemptive Phoenix, to make sure they don't get caught here at this hard camp. Fantastically done here by Team Dignitas.
What a win this would be for them if they're able to take this 2-0, considering the past they've had with Navi, considering that utter domination from Navi in the European Championships. At the moment, Dignitas is up in experience. They are up 1 game here in this best of 3. And we have still, they're taking control of this map here. It's going to be difficult for them with the level 13 talents coming in now for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, securing that easy camp here is going to be nice. They're going to have a little bit of a pushing force here at the bottom. Do they try and go for a fight here? Or do they just kind of play it slow, get the turn in? Ideally, I think they'd love to go into a fight, but you don't want to rush in too quickly and find yourself in a bad position. Yeah, I think they're just turning up Navi here right now.
And as usual for Zarmony, that Drain Hope's going to get talented into at level 13 for Crushing Hope, so a big damage can come out here from Leoric if he gets himself on towards a Johanna or a Diablo. That's really where he's going to be aiming for, not only to increase his survivability, but also to really power down the position that we're seeing here from Navi as the Sentinel spots them moving towards the boss.
That spoiled their plans very quickly here. Just going to be pulling back.
Gotta be careful. There's a little bit of engagement going on towards the bottom here as Leoric will Wraith walk away. Just kind of acting as a scout almost here is Zarmony towards the bottom, trying to escort this easy camp to get it to do some damage. Sentinel spots them towards the boss again, but it looks like Team Dignitas here, with the amount of members from Navi that was down towards the bottom, they're trying to bait this out now.
They're almost level 14 as well, against a Navi that's level 12. Fighting one talent down is one of the worst things that you can do in Heroes of the Storm. Probably the second worst things after fighting 2 talents down, which rarely happens. But in this case, Navi knows that they can't fight just yet. But it seems like Dignitas didn't want to risk it because Navi were closing in on level 13, so they just pulled back. And they might just be happy with getting a full turn in here in a second. They've got enough.
They were looking to bait on the position. The Sentinel misses the turn. It would have only hit Bakery. He's got 1 gem and then maybe Snitch. But at the same time, it could have been important because here come the Web Weavers for Team Dignitas once again. Are they going to be... Oh my God! Oh no, they almost got on towards that hard camp there. As we're going to see the Shadow Dog come down. Landing Breath has also been activated here. So they're taking a lot of damage underneath all of this. Divine Pulse pops on towards Snitch, but I don't think it's going to be enough to be able to keep him alive here. Lots of spread damage. Alex the Pro G, that almost gets out towards the bottom. Diablo's going to fall. Dignitas turning this fight around. Brywing goes down as well. What is going on? Dignitas were supposed to lose that fight, but they didn't. And they kept themselves alive with all of the AoE healing from Karazim.
Art camp or not, a massive win here for Team Dignitas. Coming in a little bit late, and now those Web Weavers are going to be pushing in. They're already ahead in experience. They're going to get so much damage here done with all of those Web Weavers. Dignitas, it's their show right now. They're running the show in the semifinals.
It's their show. They are upsetting Team Navi here. They are 2 levels ahead at the 12-minute mark. This is unprecedented considering what we saw from these 2 teams at the European Championship. Team Dignitas has shown up and they are really showing face here. At the moment, they are powering on towards this position. They might not look for the full kill here. They might go for a disengage, but still, here comes the Lightning Breath out from Diablo, doing quite a bit of damage. They want to bring him down during all of this. Alex taking some damage up towards the top as well. Conden comes in, locking down Bakery and Athero for a moment, but nobody dies.
Lightning Breath really not doing that much here against the healing of Bakery. Dignitas turns around, they still want to fight.
Good little moves from there from the Brightwing as well. Alex Protein still in the thick of things and he's going to end up going down. Johanna already falls here. Team Dignitas with yet another pickup. Zarmony actually getting that skeletal swing onto a few of them, slowing them down. Brightwing has fallen down. Blink heals out of there. Very important, but the keep has fallen.
So many gems were lost. That was 33 gems here on the Johanna that just died. Some of those were picked up, but so many of those were lost here by Navi, who are in quite a bit of trouble. Level 13 against 16. They just don't seem to be able to win a single fight here.
This is a lot. This is a lot. We have seen, though, Navi in the past come back from the brink of destruction. Think back to their series against DK. Think about the resilience that Navi has had in some of these games here in the World Championship. Do not count them out just yet. They still have 2 keeps available to them. The level 16 talents in at the moment here for Team Dignitas are going to add that little bit of extra power and even a little bit of extra defensive capability. Think about how Kerrigan, with their assimilating shield abilities here at level 13 and 16, is going to be able to keep alive even further in these fights.
Arcane Barrier as well. I mean, if you have that plus Bakery on your team, usually you're not going to die.
It's going to be difficult for them to really wrestle this back at the moment. Team Dignitas moving up towards the boss here once again. It could be a bait. They're looking for the Sentinel to come out from ScHwimpi.
They've actually been really shy to properly start this and then try and force a fight. But this time, I think they might be for real. They're actually trying to get it. And if Navi tries to contest, then Dignitas is just going to run a loop to try and wipe them.
Oh, there's a Shadow Stalk. They're looking on towards Snitch here. Can they couple up a lot of stones on towards him? That's going to be very important. He's already pulled them off as well. The Maelstrom has actually popped. And Johanna gets blown up under the power here from Team Dignitas. Likewise, the Diablo Splendour is under a lot of threat as well here. Great stun out from ScHwimpi to make sure that they're not going to lose 3, but they lost their entire front line. Now this is a great opportunity here for Dignitas to turn around, take that boss, and put on big pressure towards that top lane.
JayPL letting go of his keyboard here for a second, scratching his chin in disbelief. This has not been their best game.
This could be it.
Struggling so much here. Navi, oh my god.
This is a big push that's going to come out of Team Dignitas here as they are looking to get the revenge on their opponents from the European final.
Look at Splendour. He doesn't look happy one bit.
He looks dejected at the moment. Meanwhile, you see on the other camera there, Bakery looking poised, looking focused, looking like they want to make killing moves here, killing blows. Navi has to play this very, very carefully right now. Oh, and that's not careful enough at all. Oh, that could get him. It pops! It pops! Jaina goes down. That's 35 seconds without big damage that they need to be able to keep themselves alive. Team Dignitas pushing on two fronts now, looking for Splendour. Blinks away on towards a minion. Very important, teleporting elsewhere to try and keep himself alive, getting away from the theatre of combat. But they're going to lose a middle keep here. Team Dignitas is 3 levels in the lead at the moment here against Navi. They're going to get every single keep. And this is a disaster here for Team Navi.
They're just going to try to end it. They want a 2-0 victory. Level 19 against 15 now. Even if Navi get level 16 here, they're just in so much trouble in this game. What does Team Dignitas do? Do they pull back and try and get a turn in? Oh. Yes, it looks like they might just try and take their time.
Team Dignitas is in full control here. They're going to go over towards the hard camp as well, try and take this. Really continuing to put on the pressure here against Team Navi.
Oh, Alex the Prodigy does not look one bit happy here on this shot that we see at the bottom.
Oof. It's hard for them at the moment. I mean, as much as they did come back against DK in that series in the past, this is going to be tough. Team Dignitas getting themselves almost a full turn in here at the moment. 3 levels behind. With level 20 hitting, there is a massive window here where Dignitas can actually finish this and move on to the grand finals.
18 gems away from the next turn in. Alex is gonna get caught.
Oh,
the Aerokin.
That could be more spread. He's able to catch 2. Actually delayed out there. Splendor's able to get away just barely. Got a bomb on him, just gonna try and get away here. Alex the Prodigy though is gonna end up falling. That's one of the tanks already gone. Athero with that palm, not even gonna pop here as they blow up Diablo as well. He goes down. Tyranda's gone down too. This could be the finish here for Team Dignitas.
And Diablo didn't have 100 souls. It's gonna be a 40 seconds timer here for him doing which is going to be done. Bakery almost goes down, but escapes in the end.
Bakery almost dies off there. Good gravity laptop towards him. Karazim actually does go down here, so there's a potential that they might not be able to finish. They need the healing capability. Are Dignitas going to go for this? Yes, they are. They're going towards core. If they can bring this down here in the little bit of time that they have left, that is going to be moving on to the grand finals. Navi trying to slow down. Jaina here trying to put out as much burst damage as possible on towards these members, but the core is falling. The core is falling. That is going to be Dignitas moving on to the grand finals. They are ecstatic here as they make their way on as the first team into the grand finals of the Hero to the Storm World Championship. What a victory for Team Dignitas. They got their revenge on the team that was able to bulldoze them through the European final. Team Dignitas here, moving on. What a victory for them. And in the end, we were guaranteed a European team in the grand final. But Team Dignitas looked strong there against brothers in arms. You can see the camaraderie here between the two teams. A lot of respect here between Team Navi and Team Dignitas.
Yeah, Team Dignitas said very openly after the European finals that they were embarrassed in that finals last time. It was a 3-0, it wasn't close at all. This time around, how sweet this revenge must feel, Grubby.
Yeah, going from a 0-3 to a 2-0, showing how far they've come in just a few weeks. And even in just 1 week from last week, where they did not look as strong as they did now. Now, you've all seen the game. You may even want to watch it back again later at home. I will. But there's one moment that I want to show just to show how much they've grown here in this Windows 10 game DVR replay. We're going to pause it here for a moment. They almost took the Bruiser camp here. Team Dignitas did. They're moving in here. They have the Web Weavers summoning. And I just want to highlight Snitch. I feel like he was a big man of the match here alongside Athero, and I'll touch upon that in just a little bit. But Snitch's timing of jumping in was just incredible. He looked fairly demoralized in the last week at some point, almost, when I saw him walk around. And we're going to play it here because he was a little bit off again on Battlefield of Eternity. Here we see his timing against Team YL. But here he played just incredible. Going to play it here. Snitch, he's waiting. There, he jumps in as Unstoppable is gone on Johanna, forcing the engagement here. Divine Palm, a little bit early here for Karazim. And somehow they're almost all dead. The reason Atheroangel is staying alive there and he's keeping all his allies alive is because of his talent tree, which is just incredible. I love it. Progressive rock at level 1, getting more regeneration for all your for yourself every time you use your E ability, and then groupies. Healing everyone around you in a large burst heal. It's the perfect choice when you have Kerrigan and Leoric jumping in with you here. That's why they're all staying alive here. The combined healing from Karazim and him. And that's why they win this fight. And there with the Living Bomb. Very nice play by adrd. It's just a beautiful way that their draft work together, that the talent picks work together, and the synergy and timing of them jumping in. And truly, as great as Team Na'Vi played in both the qualifiers and the tournament here, Team Dignitas is super deserving of that final spot.
Yeah, I don't normally do this as a commentator, but I'm actually very, very proud of Dignitas and how they've been able to perform here in the face of adversity against a team like Na'Vi.
Here comes that patriotism.
Brits in the final, it never happens. So there you go, that is Team Dignitas moving on forwards to the grand final. We can confirm that in the brackets as well to show you exactly what has happened so far. This is Group A, of course, showing that Team Dignitas had to face off a little against a few troubles on their road here towards this position that they found themselves in. But obviously, having defeated Team Na'Vi now and moving through to the grand final.
They just got a sweet revenge. Maybe they want another one in grand finals against Cloud9.
Maybe they do if they end up going against Cloud9, that's for sure. As we will not have, you know, Team Dignitas here actually being able to put themselves, oh, sorry, Team Dignitas does put themselves in the grand final. I'm lost for words for at the moment, this is crazy. It's been a long start to the day for sure, but what games that we actually got to witness there after having that little bit of a wait.
And it's only just beginning, as the second semifinals is going to be Team Cloud9 versus Team DK. North America's hopeful against Korea's only representative, beating the previous favorites in Korea in the qualifiers, Team DK versus Cloud9. That's going to come up next, and that will set the stage for the grand finals.
What a fantastic match to come, really. Cloud9 going up against Team DK. We've seen that Cloud9 has had a very strong performance here in the tournament so far. Didn't even have to play yesterday because they were that strong. So now today here, they're going to be coming in very, very prepared for a DK that hasn't looked invincible.
It's going to be crazy. A lot of spectators here I know are going to be cheering for Cloud9 as well. I can't wait until this match begins, and I really hope it delivers as this one just did as well. Because even though it was a 2-0, that was very entertaining. A lot of good fights. And again, you kind of summarized it all in your analysis. Some fantastic teamwork, talent choices, and everything from Dignitas in particular.
Make sure, ladies and gents, to check out BlizzCon.com for all the information coming out from BlizzCon so far. Not only here for Heroes of the Storm, but also the other games that Blizzard is so graceful as to provide to us, all of us lovely, lucky people here in the Blizz world. For now, though, we can head over to Anna with an interview here with the team moving on to the grand final.
Thanks so much, guys. I am here with Bakery. Let's hear it one more time for Dignitas. Bakery, your team has just secured itself a spot in the grand finals. You've won at least $120,000. How are you all feeling right now?
Honestly, this just feels amazing. Like, we didn't actually expect to make it to the final. Our goal coming in was top 4, and especially since we beat Na'Vi, who had such a good record against us in the European Championship, it just feels amazing.
It's a huge topic to talk about you and Na'Vi, as you really did want to prove yourselves against them after the European Championship, but they've also become your friends and allies in scrims. Tell us a little bit about how it feels on stage to be knocking them out of the tournament.
I mean, at first when we won, I felt like really great, obviously, and when I walked over and I saw them, I actually felt really bad, because I want them to be in the finals as well. But yeah, once I see the crowd cheering again, it feels good. Straight back up. Feels amazing.
Well, you're going to have to avenge their honor as you move forward into the semifinals, and we're seeing some awesome play out of you. We talked yesterday about your Karazim play, which has been really important. You're also one of the only teams to be consistently picking ETC. Are those some things that were keys to your success, or are there others we should notice that have been really important for you and your team?
I think we have 100% win rate with Karazim in this tournament, which is really cool for me because it's my favorite hero. In terms of ETC, it's something we actually picked up here from the Chinese and Korean team, and it just works really well in early aggression, and once you get groupies, it puts out so much healing, it's really hard to deal with in team fights.
It was really fun to watch as well, and we're looking forward to watching you in that grand final. There are two teams ready to face off here on stage, vying for that next spot next to you. Who do you assume you're going to meet when you get to the finals?
I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm actually going to go with the crowd though and say that Cloud9 should make it to the final.
Well, thank you and congratulations. Get some rest. We will see you again soon. Guys, we are going to check out a video as we move into the next match about what we think Cloud9's strengths will be.